So anytime a radical movement, especially one that's out to assert racial superiority, gets particularly virulent, you can think about it in one of two ways. So either they've become powerful, or these are the kicks of a dying horse. If you ask me, this Trump situation are the kicks of a dying horse. And I'll tell you, with context of similar movements, sort of right-wing movements, it became the most virulent when they realized that the counterparty, in this case, people of color, brown people, Indians, Africans, have come in and they have asserted their place in this country. The Obama and Biden years were worse for immigrants.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
They were much worse for immigrants. The number of immigrants who were deported during the Obama years are significantly more than during the Trump years.
Was it something like 300 and something? Was it 300 and something a day, or was it 300 and something a month?
But kumbuka, Trump years,
a day, right?
There was COVID.
Yeah.
Where they could not do deportations. But so far it's I think a month into Trump's presidency.
Yeah.
What would you say is your overall take on those 4 weeks, and where do you think the 4 years will head?
I think the overall take, this will sound very counterintuitive. So anytime a radical movement, especially one that's out to assert racial superiority, gets particularly virulent, you can think about it in one of two ways. So either they've become powerful, or these are the kicks of a dying horse. If you ask me, this Trump situation are the kicks of a dying horse. And I'll tell you, with context of similar movements, sort of right-wing movements, it became the most virulent when they realized that the counterparty, in this case, people of color, brown people, Indians, Africans, have come in and they have asserted their place in this country, right? If I was a white racist guy and I go to Silicon Valley and I find half of the founders are Asians or a quarter of the founders are Africans, asserting their sort of their knowledge and proving themselves in industry. If I go to Mooresville in the Research Triangle Park in Durham, most of that community is Asian and African, right? In the companies I've worked, most of the tech scientific companies that I've worked, majority of my colleagues are, of non-white descent. So if I'm a white American, sort of looking at these statistics from whatever level. So if you're a policymaker and you're looking at leadership in tech, or if you're a sweeper and you're looking at the CEO of your company, and you realize that something is changing fundamentally that I can't reverse. I can't drag history back into what it used to be, where I had the choice of being racially superior.
But have these Indians and these Mexicans, haven't they been voting for the white supremacist party?
Well, there's a
yes.
Yes. The answer is partly yes, but it depends which Latino community you're talking about. So Latinos, by the way, are obviously not homogeneous. They come from very different countries, but more importantly, from where they come with very different persuasions. So, for example,
some of them, not all of them.
Yeah. So if you talk about Latinos in Florida, predominantly you have Cubans. Cubans are coming from a socialist system, so they perceive, and most of them came during the 1980s when they were running from socialism into what they thought was an ideal society. So a lot of Cubans lean Republican. So a guy like Marco Rubio, he comes from that generation of Cubans, mostly from Florida. If you look at Mexicans believe that New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, and Southern California are part of their country. These were lost during the Texan Wars, right? So they have a very different persuasion in terms of like their politics. Puerto Ricans looking towards statehood. So whatever political formation speaks to those issues, then they respond in kind. I don't think anybody thought that Trump was serious, right? Including Latinos. I think even Latinos thought, we're voting for this guy because we think he's going to be good for the economy. He's just, I've heard, in fact, what Latinos call Trump, they call him a chihuahua. He barks but doesn't bite, right? He's small, he barks, he doesn't bite. That's how they've traditionally referred to him. But then now, a very assertive president is coming out and like deporting people. But at the same time, remember, there's 11 million immigrants in this country, many of whom are undocumented. So, sending a plane load, how many people does a plane hold? Maybe 200, and they can't, they don't jump pack them like a matatu. It's just 200 people, put them in a plane for show. I was looking at some report that it costs near a couple $1 million, I think close to $5-6 million to repatriate just one plane load. So how many plane loads are you going to take over the border?
Actually,
right?
It's 80 million. But
it costs a lot, right? Because on the other end, you have to do all the processing. Then you ship one military plane to fly all these people back and forth.
You figure out.
So how many planes are they going to have to?
What type of fuel are they using for?
They don't have enough detention facilities. They don't have enough planes. There's very little they are going to be able to do, because what are they going to do? They're going to put immigrants in buses, or is there a continental train that they're going to put people in to take them to Mexico? So I think a lot of it is just political rhetoric. He has to do, he has to show that he's deporting people, and obviously it's very visible when you kind of publicize it on TV. But when you think about it in the scale of things, his actions in the last couple of weeks have hardly scratched the surface. In fact, some reports are saying that the Obama and Biden years were worse for immigrants.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
They were much worse for immigrants. The number of immigrants who were deported during the Obama years are significantly more than during the Trump years.
Was it something like 300 and something? Was it 300 and something a day, or was it 300 and something a month?
But compared to Trump years,
a day, right?
There was COVID.
Yeah.
Where they could not do deportations.
But even how many? Yeah. I mean, there's 11 million. So how many are you going to be able to deport with flights? So if I don't know the math, I don't have a calculator, but if you do 11 million, divide by 250 times, how much did you say a flight is? $8 million.
No, apparently I was seeing something like 82. It's costing 82.
No, it's closer to, it's a couple million. It's not. But if you were to multiply that number, it's yeah, and the amount of
check. Let me ask.
The amount of resources that's needed. I think they are doing this for the purpose, for kind of to play to the gallery, right? They're doing this to play to the gallery, but in the sort of in the sum of things, I'm not really sure that there's going to be much impact. And then, executive orders can be challenged in court, right?
Correct.
These are not laws that are being passed. These are not even laws that I think necessarily will even pass through Parliament, through Congress, even with a Republican majority. And then the other thing is, just as a word of caution, not caution, but sort of reassurance, they don't also have enough time. You need 8 years to be able to have impact. He's already now 3 years and 10 months left. So I'm not sure that he has much to give. So I agree with the assertion that Latinos call him a chihuahua. He'll bark a lot, do a lot of really outlandish things, but I'm not really sure that they'll have
at this point
much
his
in terms
shock
of
and
impact.
awe is working.
I really don't think they need eight years, because remember they had 4 years of planning this thing. Yeah. Everything Trump is doing is on Project 2025. It's well documented, and you can anticipate what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. So if you say he needs 8 years to me today, I lost 30,000 colleagues who were fired just like that. Those guys don't need 8 years to feel his impact. They're feeling that impact immediately right now. So, and with that money that you're seeing they're saving by cutting all these programs, we are seeing right now that Tesla has been given a 400 million tender for supplying Cybertrucks to the government, to the federal government. This is money that is being pulled out
Mika.
from the existing budget right now. Let me finish my.
No, they changed to electric vehicles, but carry on.
This is money that is being pulled from the existing budget. It's not budget that is being waited for. So this is the impact that is felt now.
Mika,
this is eugenics right now that is happening, because when you take out aid from the two highest populous regions, which is three populous regions, South America, Africa, and Asia, take out aid that helps them with their healthcare, let them die from various diseases. So you're reducing, you're killing it from the source. You're killing these numbers of people that are immigrating and come from the source. You're deporting people here. Howeverly, you don't care. You're reducing it. You're taking away programs that help black and brown people, and that is what is giving them a quality of life to allow them to reproduce as they are, and reducing that. These are things that are felt right now. Black women not being protected in healthcare and during the pregnancies and their reproductive health being taken. It's something that's being felt now. They don't need 8 years. They keep this going on for 4 years. They've taken a huge chunk out of them. Him saying that he wants to talk to Putin and see that the US weakens itself, reduces its defense budget, is now. He's weakening the country now. Reducing intake of military employees is now. They don't need 4 years for the impact, for them to make an impact. They don't need 8 years.
Yeah, Mika, let me just qualify myself by saying we were talking specifically about the immigration issue, but I can quickly comment on some of the other really important issues that you've highlighted. Let's just start with this question of foreign aid. So, USAID has this enormous budget that the U.S. taxpayer basically pays as aid, or gives as aid to the rest of the world as part of a larger strategy to assert American influence in the world. The USAID was formed during the Kennedy years as an act of Congress. So it's a statutory institution. So it also, there's a lot of questions about how it's been gutted. The other thing I think this right-wing government has chosen to do, and this kind of points to sort of the desperation that they have. They've chosen to break all the conventional rules, right? And some of the conventional rules are not rules that we necessarily have because of legislation. These are just agreements. So, and a good example is like the certification process of the elections in January 2022, what happened with the insurrection. Democracy has never been about having legislation, right? That governs how people accept accepting the outcome of the elections. That has always just been a gentleman and ladies agreement, basically accepting that the outcome of the election is leaning to a certain way. That has always just been a cultural practice. But the Republican establishment has, or this right-wing wing of the Republican Party has been very, very specific about breaking norms, right? So, respecting the independence of an institution like USAID, that is not written in law. That is just a common understanding that the American people have had with the government and the rest of the world, that as a leading country, as the world superpower, we have a responsibility, because we have the ability to support